Hi Year 10, Mr Lloyd here. I'm just going to take you through what Mr Major and I have set you for homework for the next week in terms of your performance analysis and evaluation, which is something that we're going to get you to do whilst we're on lockdown and not coming into school at the moment. So this is going to be all about your performance analysis and your evaluation. So first thing you've got to do, there's 4 parts to this. First thing you've got to do is you have to assess your ability in your chosen sport. You need to assess your components of fitness and to make sure that they're all where they need to be. Second thing, and this is going to be next week, you're going to need to plan your session that you're going to do. After that, you're going to need to execute your plan and collect data to evidence the how well you've done. And lastly, you're going to need to evaluate. So, first thing we're going to look at today is assess, and in order to do that, you need to have a bit of a reflection about how you play your sport, and you've got to identify strengths and weaknesses. So in order to do that, I think Mr Major's asked you to do a table, and on that table you would have had something like your component of fitness, followed by the definition, followed by an example in your sport, relative importance, and then the fitness test. So today we really need to talk about these sorts of things. So the relative importance talks about how important is that component of fitness for you in that sport. So if I was a gymnast, for example, and I'm not a gymnast, the component of fitness that would be really important for me would be something like flexibility. So if I was doing flexibility, which is a range of motion at a joint, an example in my sport would be to be able to do the splits. The relative importance for me as a gymnast would be 10 out of 10. That's one of the most important things in gymnastics. A fitness test for flexibility would be the sit and reach test, where you sit with your feet against the box and you go over the top of it. That, however, would be completely different if I was a footballer. As a centre midfielder, I would probably need high levels of cardiovascular fitness, which is the ability of the heart and lungs to deliver oxygen to the working muscles for long durations of time. The relative importance of that would be 10 out of 10. Flexibility for a footballer would be, 4 out of 10. I don't need to be able to do the splits to be a footballer. The fitness test for cardiovascular fitness would be something like a 12-minute Cooper run. Now, these fitness tests you can find in a textbook. You can also find them on a website. You can find them on a website called brianmack.co.uk. And there's a little tab on your left, and you can look up fitness tests, and there's heaps. There's heaps. So whilst you're in lockdown, you're allowed out to exercise 1 time a day. You're going to need to be creative. You're going to need to look at which tests can be done indoors and which tests can be done outdoors. If you go outdoors, you need to be creative in terms of you won't have cones like we do, so you're going to need to use socks, or put some boxes down or something like that. Take a big step for a metre. If it tells you need to be 10 metres apart, or a 30-metre sprint, for example. Take your mobile phone as a stopwatch. Get your mum or dad to film you or to time you so that you can get some of those results and get yourself started on this. So once you've done that table, you're then going to need to carry out the fitness tests. And the fitness tests over the next couple of days, you're going to need to get them done, or you'll fall behind for the next bit. Once you've done your fitness tests, you can make a table, and I'll show you an example in the middle. If you do one with the test on that side, your score and the rating, you can get whether you're excellent, good, average or poor for all of your components of fitness. Now here's one that a student's used in the past. You tell me when that's on the camera, mate.
little bit closer. Yeah, that's fine.
So you can see that this person at the top here, they've done a press-up test to test for muscular endurance. It says that they got, how many did they get? They got 30, and that was a good score. All of these scores, these national norms we call them, are going to be found on that website, brianmac.co.uk. They did one here for a standing board jump. They did a grip strength one, but like I said, some of these things you can do, some of these things you've got to get a bit creative with. Ultimately, you just have to try and assess your levels of fitness, and so you can make an accurate evaluation of how fit you are and the things that you need to try and improve in your next stage of your performance analysis and evaluation. Right, I hope that helps. Good luck this week.